A lone stagecoach rattles across the sun-baked expanse of the Santa Fe Trail, its wheels kicking up clouds of prairie dust that choke the air. The year is 1850, and the American frontier is a lawless tapestry of promise and peril. Traders, settlers, and mail carriers brave this rugged path from Missouri to New Mexico, chasing dreams of fortune amid the whispers of danger. But on this fateful journey, danger doesn't whisper, it roars. Welcome to Wild West Archives, where we unearth the forgotten tales of the frontier. Today we delve into the Stagecoach Slaughter, ambush on the Santa Fe Trail. What began as a routine mail run would erupt into one of the bloodiest ambushes in Old West history, a clash that exposed the fragile grip of civilization on these wild lands. Stick around as we ride shotgun through the chaos. In the mid-19th century, the Santa Fe Trail stretched over 800 miles from Independence, Missouri to Santa Fe, New Mexico, a vital artery for trade, carrying everything from furs and silver to the latest news from the East. Established in 1821 by William Becknell, it symbolized America's westward expansion, but at a cost. The trail sliced through the ancestral territories of the Comanche, Kiowa, Apache, and Ute peoples, disrupting their hunting grounds and way of life. The Indian Trade and Intercourse Act of 1834 had promised these lands as permanent Indian country, free from white encroachment. Yet as wagon trains multiplied, so did the conflicts. Buffalo herds dwindled, sacred sites were trampled, and resentment simmered into outright war. By 1849, tensions boiled over into what historians call the Jicarilla War, a series of raids and reprisals between the Jicarilla Apache, their Ute allies, and American travelers. The Jicarilla, known for their fierce independence and mastery of the high plains, had long traded peacefully with Mexicans in Taos and Santa Fe. But the influx of Americans changed everything. Some historians believe the spark came in August 1849, when a group of Jicarilla visited Las Vegas, New Mexico, seeking a peace treaty. Instead, they were ambushed by locals fearing attack. 14 warriors killed, and the daughter of Chief Lobo Blanco, or White Wolf, taken captive. White Wolf, a formidable leader whose name struck fear into settlers' hearts, vowed revenge. That October, White Wolf's band struck back in the White Massacre at Point of Rocks, New Mexico. A wagon train led by merchant James White was ambushed. White and several companions were slain on the spot. His wife, Anne, their young daughter, and a servant were captured. Legend has it that Mrs. White endured unimaginable hardships before being killed by her captors during a U.S. Army rescue attempt led by Major William Greer and Scout Kit Carson. The child and servant vanished, their fates lost to the winds of the prairie. This atrocity sent shockwaves through the territory, proving the trail was no longer safe for small parties. As one contemporary account from the Santa Fe Republican newspaper put it, the Indians are becoming more bold and daring every day. No one is safe. Fast forward to April 1850. Against this backdrop of brewing war, a mail express sets out from Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. The contract for mail delivery along the Santa Fe Trail belonged to Waldo Hall and Company, who used sturdy Dearborn wagons, light mule-drawn coaches that could carry mail, passengers, and a dash of hope. On April 18th, three hardy souls, Frank Hendrickson, James Clay, and Thomas E. Branton, loaded up the mail sacks and headed west. No passengers aboard this run. Their journey was routine at first. 30 days allotted for the trip, camping under the stars, ever watchful for signs of trouble. About a week in, near Council Grove, Kansas, they linked up with a larger wagon caravan for safety. Here they were joined by Dr. Thomas W. Flournoy, a physician bound for Santa Fe, and Moses Goldstein, a merchant with goods to sell. Strength in numbers, they thought. Further along, they encountered an eastbound ox train fresh from New Mexico. 5 men from that group, Benjamin Shaw, John Duffy, John Freeman, John Williams, and a German teamster whose name history has sadly forgotten, decided to turn back west, perhaps lured by unfinished business or the call of the frontier. A young man named Alexander McNabb also hitched on, swelling their ranks to 10. No military escort this time. They gambled on speed and luck. As May dawned, the party entered the treacherous Cimarron Cutoff, a shorter but drier route skirting the edge of Jicarilla territory. Water was scarce, the sun merciless. They camped at familiar stops like Rabbit Ears and Rock Creek, sharing stories around the fire. But unknown to them, eyes watched from the bluffs. Chief White Wolf, still burning from the losses of 1849, had rallied over 100 Jicarilla Apache and Moash Ute warriors. They were masters of ambush, using the terrain like a weapon. Canyons for cover, speed for surprise. The attack came on May 18, 1850, near Wagon Mound, a distinctive butte shaped like a covered wagon, the last major landmark before Santa Fe. The stagecoach had paused at Santa Clara Spring for water, the men perhaps letting their guard down in the canyon shade. Suddenly, war whoops shattered the silence. Arrows whistled through the air, followed by rifle cracks from hidden positions. The Apaches and Utes swarmed from the southeast, dividing into flanks to encircle the group. What followed was a desperate two-day running fight. The male party fought valiantly, their rifles barking defiance. Dr. Flournoy, the healer-turned-warrior, reportedly dropped several attackers before falling. Merchant Goldstein unloaded his revolver into the fray, but the odds were overwhelming, 10 against 100. One by one, they were cut down. Hendrickson scalped mid-reload, Clay pierced by arrows, Branton fighting to his last breath. The German teamster vanished in the melee. Bodies littered the canyon floor, mutilated in the Apache custom to honor the dead and intimidate foes. Amid the slaughter, young Alexander McNabb seized a moment. Wounded but alive, he slipped away in the chaos, crawling through brush and ravines. For days, he staggered southward, bloodied and dehydrated, until he reached Las Vegas, New Mexico. His harrowing tale alerted authorities. 9 men dead, the male scattered or destroyed. Travelers soon discovered the grim scene, bodies stripped, scalped, and riddled with wounds. As one eyewitness report from Fort Union later described, the remains were horribly mangled, presenting a sight too shocking for description. How could such a routine journey end in utter devastation? Some historians speculate the attack was pure retaliation for the 1849 injustices, while others point to the broader clash of cultures, the unstoppable tide of manifest destiny crashing against indigenous resistance. The Wagon Mound slaughter didn't end with the bodies in the dust. It galvanized the U.S. government. Outraged headlines in Eastern papers decried the most daring murder ever committed by Indians. Coupled with the White Massacre, it underscored the need for protection. In 1851, Fort Union was established near the trail's junction, a bastion of adobe and stone that would become the largest military post in the Southwest. Troops from there waged campaigns against the Jicarilla and Ute, culminating in the Battle of Cieneguilla in 1854, where Lieutenant John Davidson's dragoons were ambushed, suffering heavy losses. White Wolf himself met his end in one such clash, his death marking the waning of Jicarilla power. Yet the legacy lingers. The Santa Fe Trail's dangers forged the myth of the Wild West, a place where courage clashed with cruelty, and every mile could be your last. The Jicarilla, displaced and diminished, were eventually confined to reservations, their stories often overshadowed by the victors' narratives. Primary sources like accounts from Kit Carson and military dispatches remind us of the human cost on both sides. In the end, the Stagecoach Slaughter stands as a stark reminder of the frontier's brutal reality. It shaped military strategy, accelerated settlement, and etched the Santa Fe Trail into American lore as a path of blood and ambition. What do you think? Could such tragedies have been avoided, or were they inevitable in the march of progress? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you hunger for more tales of the Old West, subscribe and hit that bell. Next time, we uncover the legend of another frontier icon. Until then, keep riding the trail of history.